if the sun refused to shine, I don't mind. I don't mind. And if the mountains fell into the sea, let it be, 'cause it ain't me. If a 6 turned out to be 9, I don't mind. I don't mind. And if all the hippies cut off all their hair, I don't care. I don't care.
Flashing down the street, pointing their plastic finger at me. They're hoping soon my kind will drop and die. I'm gonna wave my freak flag high.
has once begun. Never leave it till it's done. Be thy labor great or small. Do it well or not at all.
Mama, we made it. We're finally the greatest of the world. I told you we make it. We're finally the greatest. Knock, knock, who's there? The one, remember me? I'm looking kinda different these days, don't you agree? Your boy's going big these days, didn't you see? The hell with the devil, there's no sympathy. The wishes in my past are still riding me. All I can do is laugh as they lie to me. You can't take my God from inside of me. Crosses up, light up the sky with me. I got a lot of crazy on my mind. Like what's the real reason that the Pope resigned? I got Van Halen, I don't need a bass line. I knew we could do it, it was just a matter of time. Put the apple back on the tree, the grape on the vine. I came back to take back everything that was mine. If I live to be 109, I'm still in my prime. If I don't, then I don't. I'll live on in your mind. Mama, we made it. We're finally the greatest of the world. I told you we make it. We're finally the greatest. I'm on a hacksaw tour. Eddie got Frankenstein aimed at the jaw. Speakers under the stage lift you off of the floor. Why? Cause music is the answer to war. We endure. Cameras everywhere. Everyone is keeping score. Everybody's talking about what somebody saw. The world is a steak. I'ma chew it up raw. We're packing heavy metal like we're above the law. London, Japan, Germany and France. The streets of New York collide with the Neverlands. Jump up on some shoulders, baby, you never dance. You only live once, come on, here's your chance. You can be reborn, half God, half man. If you rise up and grab my hand. If I live to be 109, I'm still in my prime. If I don't, then I don't. I'll live on in your mind. Mama, we made it. We're finally the greatest of the world. I told you we make it. We're finally the greatest. Eddie Van Halen. We're all the greatest. Rise up. Mama, we made it. We're finally the greatest of the world. I told you we make it. We're finally the greatest.
Bill,
Hello, Eddie. How are you?
hey, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks. Thanks very much for your time. I know you're busy rehearsing, so I appreciate you spending a little bit of
That's
time
cool. We're
with me.
taking a little break here, you know.
That's great. Look, on behalf of all your fans in Australia, congratulations on getting to #1 in America first week out. That must have been exciting for you.
Well, yeah, it's always nice to go to #1. You know what I mean?
Did you have any expectations that the record could do that, like on its first week of release?
That it will the third week. I don't know. It's like it'd be nice if it does, but you know, I'm not like holding my breath.
No, I know what you're saying. Look, after having played the new album through a few times, it sounds a lot closer, I think, in feel to the earlier recordings than it does, say, to 5150 or OU 812. Has that got anything to do with the fact...
A lot of that has to do with it. You know, we really know each other well now, and I think it has a lot to do with the fact that, you know, we're playing a lot tighter together, and, you know, we know each other better. This is our third record together, and... Also, you know, we added Andy Johns to the team, and he made us sound actually a lot more like we do when we're playing live in a room together. You know, it's like the previous albums sounded a little distant for my taste. You know, so so we opted for Andy Johns, you know, who's made a lot of good records that we all like, and he did a great job for us.
Just for people who aren't familiar with Andy Johns, just tell me a few of the bands he's worked with.
Say that one more time?
Just for people who may not be familiar with Andy Johns, just briefly tell me about some of the bands that he's worked with that you liked.
Well, they might not be familiar with him, but they actually are. He did Stairway to Heaven. He did the third and fourth Zeppelin album, and he did a lot of Stones. You know, he's been around for years. His brothers, what the hell?
Glyn Johns.
Glyn Johns, yeah.
I'll just ask you about some of the songs, if I may.
Sure.
Well, Runaround's got a great riff and a real solid hook, like the really good Van Halen songs, and they seem to be ideal songs to perform live. And in fact, most of the album feels that way. Do you agree with that?
Oh, definitely. That's like I was telling you just a bit ago. It's like everything. These songs are like, they sound so good when we play them live too, because there's not a bunch of overdubs and a bunch of garbage on there, you know. So we can just like whip them right out and play them exactly like the record.
Now,
these songs are all like these songs are like begging to be played live, you know, because I think the whole feel of this new album is very live.
Now, you use piano a lot in a song called Right Now. Does that influence come from your father? Because he was a jazz musician, wasn't he?
Well, the influence came from both my mom and my dad, because when Alex and I both still lived in Holland, when I was 6 years old, they were already like they had the whip out and said, "You must play piano if you want to be a musician. You must play piano." You know what I mean? So I mean, both Alex and I have been playing piano since we were like barely walking.
And isn't it also true that when you first started playing music, Alec was a guitar player and you were the drummer?
Yes, that's very true. And I bought myself like a $125 Japanese drum kit, and the only way I could afford to pay for it, because my parents didn't have the money, so the only way I could pay for it was to get a paper route. You know, I'd deliver papers. And while I was out throwing the papers, Alex would be playing my drums, and he got better than I did. So I said, "Okay, I'll take your guitar."
That's great. Mate, during the late 70s, you were the first rock guitar player I heard using the two-handed hammering and tapping techniques and utilising the tremolo bar as you did. How were you getting those ideas? Who were you listening to give you those ideas?
God, you know, I don't really exactly know how I stumbled onto that. And then again, I don't know if I'm the first one to ever do it, but I did make it part of my playing, whereas a lot of people just did it every now and then, so to speak, you know. I don't know, I grew up on, Eric Clapton was like my main guy, and, obviously I listened to Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath, you know, all the bands of that era, and, I don't know. It's kind of funny if you really think about the music that I've grown up on, and I really don't play anything like Eric Clapton, even though I did grow up on him. So it's hard to say where it came from, you know.
Now, if I had to choose one song from the new album that totally sums up Van Halen, I'd choose Pleasure Dome, because it's got dynamics with the slow start and the spoken intro, and then it's got some of the best rhythm playing you'll ever hear. I mean, Alex and Michael on that track are just so effective. What's it like to play with blokes that you've known and played with for 17 years as a soloist?
What's it like to play with Al and Mike?
Well, you've been playing with them for so long, for 17 years. It must just be awesome sometimes for you to hear them play like they do, and then for you to solo over the top of that.
It just totally gives me the freedom to do whatever I want to do. You know, I don't have to worry about them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do, and I think they're so great on Pleasure Dome on that particular track.
Yeah, that's pretty kick-ass, I think. I mean, it's a very unusual type of song, you know. It's not like something that people really, here in America anyway, it's not something that would get a lot of airplay, but it's, you know, we always like to throw one of those on a record.
Now, your last three albums have all gone to #1 in America. Did you know that Van Halen are the first rock band to achieve that honour since the Rolling Stones did it 8 times during the 70s?
Really?
Yeah, how about that?
I had no idea.
That's all right, isn't it?
Yeah.
What significance do you place on the fact that your last 3 albums have been your most successful, and all those have had Sammy Hagar as a singer?
Well, I think, God, you know, that you're putting me kind of on a spot to answer that one, but I think it's kind of obvious, you know. I mean, it's like, you know, Sammy's, I mean, knocking the first version of us, but I really think that we've grown a bit, and, you know, Sammy has definitely brought a whole new element to the band. You know, he's also a musician, you know. He's a guitarist, songwriter, singer.
Was he the only singer you considered to replace David Lee Roth?
He believe it or not, we have a mutual friend who we buy cars from. His name's Claudio Zampoli, and I happened to be going to his shop to get my car repaired, and he goes, "Oh, Edward, you seem kind of bummed out. What's going on?" I'm going, "Well, our singer just quit the damn band, you know." And he goes, "Well, hey, you know, it's funny. I just got off the phone with Sammy Hagar." So I'm going, "Really? You got his number?" So I called him right there from his shop, and set up an appointment to get together with Sammy. And you know, I think I called him like on a Friday evening, and Monday morning he was here, and by Tuesday he was in the band.
That's great. Now, there's one acoustic piece on the album. It's called 316. Has the name got any significance?
Oh, very much so for me. That's my little 4-month baby's birthday. March 16th is what it stands for.
Oh, that's wonderful. Why is it so brief? Why didn't you explore it a little bit more?
Oh, I don't know. It was just kind of a last kind of thought, you know what I mean? It wasn't really, I guess, who knows, maybe next record will make a tune out of it, you know? But the reason, here's what happened. Valerie was pregnant, my wife Valerie, and when the baby was still in the womb, when he'd be kicking and stuff, I'd grab an acoustic guitar and put it on her stomach and play this piece of music, and it would stop him from kicking. So, you know, I thought it'd be kind of neat just to put it on a record, just the way that I play it for him, you know.
I believe you put aside your famous striped guitar for these sessions for a newly designed guitar. Is that right?
Yes, I did, because this guitar, I didn't just build myself, but I designed it and everything. The body, the pickups, you know, it's everything from the way it looks to the way it sounds is all me, you know. And a lot of people seem to kind of think that it's kind of boring looking, but I think some of the best guitars ever made are very comfortable playing boring guitars. You know what I mean? It's like, it's actually very difficult to come up with a body design that hasn't been done without being too silly looking. You know what I mean? It's really easy to come up with some space age looking crazy guitar, but nobody will play it because it's not, you know what I mean? It's too outside.
So this one's obviously comfortable for you to use as well as sounding good.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I used it on the whole record, and I think it sounds pretty damn good, too.
Now, a question all your Australian fans would like answered is there any possibility of an Australian tour this year?
That's hard to say, and we haven't even booked a tour yet. All I know is I think there's a month booked here in the United States, and outside of that, I have no idea what's going on. You know, it's like I'm usually the last one to find out where we're going. They kind of just wind me up and go, "Play, Ed."
Look, I won't keep you any longer. I know you've got a few of these to do today, so I thank you for your time. And on behalf of all your fans in Australia, congratulations on all the wonderful Van Halen music, including the songs from For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge.
Well, thank you, Bill.
Thanks very much, Eddie.
Okay?
Bye-bye, mate.
Oh, hopefully we'll see you soon.
I hope so, mate. It'd be lovely to talk to you again, but thanks for your time tonight.
Okay, Bill.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.